So we were going to buy a brand new servo for the Jag, but currently they are unavailable. And rebuilt ones are a bit on the pricey side. New ones are $400 something. Rebuilt ones are $1,350 with a $650 core, which makes them $700, and then shipping back and forth. But rebuild kits are available for these things for about 70 bucks. So we're going to go ahead and tear this one down to find out if it is rebuildable. So one of the biggest concerns about rebuilding it is on the inside of this, if it's pitted or not, because moisture can build up in the brake fluid, cause rust pitting in here. So what we need to do first, we need to get this thing clamped into a vise and get it in there where it hopefully won't rotate on us, but not damage anything, of course. Now I've got this tool here that I made years ago, and this was actually to take apart the servos on the MGB rubber bumper MGBs. So that was what the 4-bolt pattern was for. Now I went ahead and modified it for the 3-bolt pattern on these. Now, the interesting thing on these is this is not an equal bolt pattern, these 3 sides. These 2 sides are the same length, this is longer. So I don't remember what the correct term for that is. The only term I'm thinking of is equilateral, and I'm pretty sure that means that they're all the same. So we'll just call it unequilateral. I've been out of school long enough that if that's right, I don't, can't believe I got it right. If it isn't right, who cares? Good enough for me. So we put this on here. We'll throw a few nuts on here. We want this to be tight because we do not want to tweak these bolts in at all. We don't want these studs to get leaned over. We want this nice and tight. And then we'll see if I got this thing in the vise tight enough. And then we're going to just turn this thing and get them lined up here. Now I'm going to end up having to take a screwdriver and tweak these because these notches are actually going in slightly deeper than the notches in the back. So let me get a screwdriver and I'll do that real quick. All right, so I don't remember having this much difficulty with these in the past, but it is what it is. You just got to work with it. So now I'm just I got this spread apart a little bit just so I can get it to get past. There we go. Because you got these notches here and you got these notches here, and this notch isn't quite as deep as this is, which actually helps you put it together, because when you put it together, you push it down, it'll lock it in, and you can, but All right, so now that we got that apart, we take out the diaphragm there, get that out of the way. It just goes in this groove here. And then there's a little key right here. We gotta kind of shake that out, and that comes apart. You can see here where it's been filled with brake fluid. So then we got to take all this apart here, which means bending these tabs down and taking these 3 bolts out. So now I got those 3 bolts out. The lock plate comes out, and this plate, and then the servo body can come off. Now we can get in and actually work on the master cylinder itself. So this just pulls on out of there. I already actually got it to pop. So you pull that on out of there. So what you basically have is you have the fluid from here pushes on the back side of this here, which then operates the master cylinder that operates the brakes. And of course this seal here, back here, is what was leaking. So once you get that out, there's a little pin right down inside there that's got to come out in order to get this piston assembly out of here. Now, in order to do that, let me do it this way. You put some pressure pushing forward just a little bit and then pull that pin out, which I'm sure it's not going to come out too easily, but oh, there it goes. Not too bad. And we can knock everything else out. And then we got to get down in there, clean out this bore really well, and look down inside there, see if there's any pitting within the bore. So now I got this bore cleaned out, and what we're really looking for is you look down the bore here, and you can actually use reflections here. You can see the top of the bore looks pretty good, but it's almost always going to be on the bottom of the bore, which we see right there. Right there's some pitting. So then what we got to do, since it's so hard to see, is you can actually take a tool like a pick like this, and you can go in there and you can feel how bad does that actually feel. Does it actually hang up? And yeah, unfortunately, that pitting is bad enough. We're not going to be able to actually rebuild this one. So this would actually end up taking, you'd have to bore this out and sleeve it in order to rebuild it properly without it just tearing up the seals. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to spend the money on the rebuilt one and put this thing back together and send it back as a core.